Hi everyone. Part of the reason I chose this location for Agamemnon is these oil fields. I'm pretty sure oil is the first modded world gen to exist in Minecraft, thanks to Buildcraft, and is still a useful form of energy. What am I going to use it for? Well, I'll show you. This project is part art and part energy. You see, I have this big flying ship, but what holds it up there? Balloons? That doesn't sound like the Crazy Yeti way. So we're doing turbines. Here's the map. Wide, short turbines to look like propellers at 15 by 15. So the rotor blades are actually 12 by 12, so 48 of them. Each catches 25 millibuckets of steam, so I want 1200 steam going into it. I'm powering with high pressure boilers which produce 60 millibuckets of steam per block, so I want at least 60 blocks of boiler. So one max-sized boiler and one almost max-sized. For max power, I'll want 22 Endurium blocks, which should produce over 12 kiloref per tick, and for the frame I'll need 338 turbine glass, 392 regular casings, 6 fluid inputs, 1 power tap, a bearing, 5 shafts, and a controller. You got all that? Here's our boiler set up in the engine room. I know I said I just need 2, but I got carried away and I can move that third one later. So I'm going to need a crap ton of ender fluid conduits. And I'm out of binder. I've got to set up some recipes in the system. I'll be back. While I'm waiting for these turbine bits to be made, I'll work on a frame for these turbines. Okay, so I've got my 15 meters square and it's actually too close. I need to move it out a couple of blocks to make room for connections. That should work. More factory blocks. Have I mentioned I love my logistics pipe system? Okay, and we've got that, and we need to move this out 2 blocks. Okay, that should be a little more practical. And since I'm going to go for a rounded look once the turbines are built, I should bring in this corner just a hair. And it's time to go check and see if my quartz has grown enough. You see, I've been growing quartz, but I don't have to go dig for it while I'm doing things like working. Although it'd help if it would grow a bit faster. I've decided to put a little bit of a curve on here to give it more of an aerodynamic look. Like so, and I think I'll fill that in with wood. Yep, I think I like it. Although it needs something back here. Like that. That should do. Now some wood to fill that in, and maybe an actual turbine. Looking pretty nice. The longest part right now is waiting for all these turbine bits to come in. But I can go ahead and get started on it anyway. Okay, the turbine is together and formed. So we're ready to hook up some pipes. Ender fluid conduits have a maximum input-output of 200 millibuckets, and we want to get at least 1200 into this turbine, so at least 6 connections. But I put 8 ports on the turbine just in case. I believe railcraft boilers have a lower limit to how much steam you can get in and out of one face, so that's why we spread out the connections like this. And the boilers are up and running on the fuel I refined from that oil. I didn't actually mean to start them yet, but the fuel started flowing and off it went, so I had to scramble to get water into the boilers. If you add water to a boiler after it's hot, it explodes, and that would make me sad. Well, that was a fun bit of lag. So now we just fill the fuel tank while we wait for the boilers to reach their boiling point. And here we are, just above 100 centigrade. And the turbine is beginning to get some steam. And the blades are just beginning to turn. I have a really good feeling about how this is turning out. Yeah, that's spinning pretty nicely. But it needs something more around the sides of it, just to make it a little bit less boxy. I have to say it, I love the way this came out. It's better than what I envisioned when I planned this. I think I can say I'm proud of myself. Brilliant. Over 12 kiloriff at 1000 RPM. I don't know if it'll actually reach 1800 RPM, but if it does, that'll be awesome. With that done, I'm ready to move on to the other side and then start working on the front turbine. Okay, I have the frame for the starboard turbine set up and it's looking pretty good. But what I want to show you now is where I'm putting the front turbine. This one's just going to be for looks, so I can make it shorter with no power generation. Once I have it set up, I'll put some safety bars over this because falling into running motors would be unhealthy. I'm just looking in on that port turbine and it's going pretty nicely. Almost 24 kiloriff at 1800 RPM. In fact, I'm going to have to turn down the steam input on this. This is going to take a few minutes to get right, so hang on a bit. Looking pretty good. 2400 kiloriff at 1845 RPM. And that's with just the electrum core, since I didn't have enough material for endurium yet. Meanwhile, I've got the front rotor set up and its little boiler just hit boiling, so let's see it start spinning. Should be going. Oh, it's not turned on. Cool. With no resistance from generating power, that little boiler should have no trouble keeping this one going. In fact, I should have plenty of steam to spare for a few other things I've been thinking of. So yeah, the turbine project has come out pretty nicely. I like the way it looks. If you do too, be sure to scroll down just a little bit and click my like button. I need your thumbs, folks. Also, feel free to check out my other fine videos and be sure to check in to see what I do next. Until then, have some fun, build something cool, and have a nice day.